I'm going to talk about fetal distress. Is cesarean section is absolute indication of fetal distress, or we can do anything else? Let's think. To manage fetal distress, we can do number 1 correction of hypoxia, number 2 establishment of retroplacental circulation. The two should be done very quickly before impending cardiac arrest and fetal death. Let's talk on correction of hypoxia. As soon as we will notice the signs and symptoms of hypoxia from which mother is suffering and so her baby consequently, we have to scrupulously start to supply of oxygen to mother. What things we can do for the establishment of uteroplacental circulation again? Let's explain it. Chorionic frondosome and decidua bacillus form the discrete placenta. As the placental growth slows down in later months of pregnancy and the lower segment progressively dilates, the inelastic placenta is seared off the wall of the lower segment. This leads to the opening of uteroplacental vessels, which leads to an episode of bleeding. Placenta, which is mainly formed of decidua bacillus and chorionic frondosome, which consists of uteroplacental vessels. As it is a physiological phenomenon which leads to the separation of the placenta, the bleeding is said to be inevitable. But when uteroplacental circulation is disturbed due to the separation of the placenta, which either may be provoked by trauma, including vaginal examination, coital act, or external version, or during high rupture of the membranes, the blood is almost always maternal, although fetal blood may escape from the torn villi, especially when the placenta is separated during trauma. Therefore, mechanism of spontaneous control of bleeding or control of spontaneous bleeding are thrombosis of the opening sinuses, mechanical pressure by the presenting part, placental infarction, use of antifibrinolytic agent as example tranexamic acid. Now come to the most scrupulous action which should be taken for the re-establishment of the uteroplacental circulation. Firstly, we have to place the mother in left lateral position to improve placental circulation, which in turn decreases frequency of uterine contractions. Number 2, to stop the oxytocin drip if it is already being infused. Number 3, terbutaline 0.25 mg should be given subcutaneous or IV if the uterus is hypertonic. Maternal hypotension should be corrected which is due to epidural analgesia if has been given with immediate infusion of 1 liter of crystalloid, as example ringer lactate solution. Number 5, patient should be placed till delivery with a 15-degree lateral tilt to her side. Infusion rate of IV fluid must be increased to increase uterine flow. Next important thing is, it should be an axiom that whenever the diagnosis of concealed variety of placental abruption has been made clinically, at least 1 liter of blood transfusion should be maintained to replenish the concealed blood loss, irrespective of patient general conditions. This blood transfusion prevents ischemic renal damage by maintaining blood pressure and prevent consequences or complications of blood coagulation disorders. Adequate blood transfusion can be monitored with measuring venous pressure, which should be at least 10 cm of water. To maintain adequate organ transfusion, it is necessary to keep a hematocrit of at least 30% and a urinary output of at least 30 ml per hour with liberal intravenous fluid and blood transfusion. That's all. Thanks.